I've played quite a few games. I've enjoyed many of them. Some I still play daily, others I come back to from time to time, and others yet I've fondly remembered, possibly dusted off once a blue moon. But it's not all fine and good. There are those who didn't earn the praise, others didn't earn scorn, and then there are those which felt insulted. UP Psycho comes to mind. The sheer disregard of a player's time there is so significant and rampant that I can't call it anything but. Yet, at least the story is enjoyably, certifiably insane. And with cheating I was able to bypass a lot of the annoyances. I'm sure there are other games which elicit similar emotions from me. I suppose Sekimeya was similar, somewhat. It wasted an obscene amounts of time describing in excruciating details all the comings and goings, lies and truth, to a point where keeping it all together was entirely impossible. Somehow with the narrator hinting that it was all possible to figure out when it was a challenge trying to not to fall asleep in the first place. I suppose my stalling and blubbering on has to do with what Gone Home made me feel. Wasteful. I spend my life doing essentially stupid things. I dread to consider what is the time I spend on Reddit amounts to. Hundreds, possibly thousands of hours, horrible waste, likes of which I have done before with other vices. Be it repetitive grindy games, pointless reading about some games and TV tropes, or whatever else. Yet it's this game that made me think back on my life and recognize that so much of it has been a waste. Playing this game, I kept my expectations low. The game doesn't play well, it doesn't run well, it doesn't look well. It actually looks strangely similar to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which is nearly 2 decades older. To be fair, graphics are entirely irrelevant here, but it works well for setting up my expectations, which again were low. So I went through Gone Home's home and discovered things. I can't exactly call them puzzles, so things is the best I can do. And as I discovered more, narration happened. About a very stereotypical, boring teen story. I think if I were Mr. AI, and someone prompted me to come up with a generic story set in the 90s about teen drama, this would be it. I suppose I can compare it to something else again. Goodbye Volcano High comes to mind here, which isn't terribly deep in the grand scheme of things, but the presence of choices, minigames, appealing visuals and a lot more interesting conflict sets it apart. Also dinosaurs. That's a big plus. So that's gameplay, visuals and story, all being subpar. Yet I persevered. I've read more into it, trying to see between the lines. I saw that the father of a family was struggling to get recognition for his books. I saw the rejection letters. I saw whatever the mother of a family was doing. I assumed some sort of park ranger position, and then I unlocked the safe with a combination 1963. And there was a letter about Oscar being unjustly imprisoned, or supposedly kept in some sort of metaphorical prison. I didn't care enough to learn. And I started to suspect that there might be more. There might be something hidden, secret, occult, even eldritch. So I kept looking in the corners, hoping that there is something behind the next one. A jump into the unknown, until finally the attic presented itself. The mysterious dark place, filled with wasted space. Not a problem, I said. Surely there's more. Perhaps it's bigger on the inside. Perhaps those hints of hidden rooms everywhere on the map would all connect and bring about the horror beyond imagination. The darkened being bent on bringing about the end of life, for the revenge would be oh so sweet. Poor Oscar never had the chance to redeem himself. He'd never see her again, and forsooth the end was already there. I've witnessed the horror beyond the door. I've seen the terror within the book. He hungers, and he'd never let go. And so shall it all be brought to a standstill in this darkened home. Kedge's fate was sealed, and so keen was Sam on feeding the beast that the sister alone would not be a sufficient feast. The forbidden abomination, now unleashed, blood on its maw, hunger in its eyes, it stalks the halls, soul of flame. By which I mean that the entire goddamn thing ended right there in the attic. Two lesbians ran away because their parents suck. You understand me now, Katie? And I could see this being a teen movie, only done not through monologue or flashbacks. I can see this as some sort of visual novel, again, not done like this. I can see this story being more impactful if there is literally anything interesting to say. Yet there is not. I spent the entire game baffled as to how gigantic the house is. Barely listening to what Sam had to say, both angry and curious at how huge this domicile can be. I look back at my life again, and realize what a waste it has been. For I have gone home.